In this video, we will show you how to test the email campaign in Bloomreach engagement. First, we test how the email displays to your customers, and then we will test how to check if the email will be correctly delivered. As our example, we use the abandoned browse email use case, which sends an email to customers who browsed your website but did not make a purchase. This use case sends them an email with the last 3 items they viewed on your website to increase chances of conversion. Let's now open the campaign to test the email. Remember, you can find here a detailed explanation of the logic of the scenario, including the conditions under which the customers receive your email. To test the visual of the email, we will navigate to the email node at the end of the scenario. You can create a copy of the email node, which you can freely customize for testing, so you do not need to worry about any changes you make in the original node. Open the visual of the email and proceed to the Design Test tab. As the abandoned email use case displays the last 3 items a specific customer viewed, we first have to view at least 3 products on the webpage. Until we do not fulfill these conditions, we will be unable to preview the visual of the email. We will open Exponent Console, which is a free Google Chrome extension that tracks the events, so the activities we have made on the website and user IDs. You can also find here the cookie ID, which is used to identify you as a customer. Copy it so you can test the visual of the email in the app. Paste the cookie ID to the customer filter in the Email Test tab. The email will display an item we viewed through this cookie ID on our website. This way, we can see that the email design updates based on the customer ID and thus works correctly. We can test the email visual one more way. In the Email Previews tab, find an option to send test email or preview link in the top right corner. Here you can send a test email to your email address and see how the visual looks when delivered to the email inbox. And that's it. Now you know how to test the design of your email. Let's see how to test whether your emails will be delivered correctly by testing the scenario flow. First, connect the email node you want to test to the scenario flow. We also need to disconnect the Wait node so we can test whether the email is delivered to our inbox immediately and do not need to wait a couple of hours until we receive it. Lastly, we temporarily add 2 scenario nodes. First is the Condition node. The second is the Trigger node now, so we can test the scenario once we start it and do not need to make an action to trigger it. Open the Condition node and enter the cookie ID used for testing. This will ensure the email is sent only to this ID when we start the scenario, as it will identify it as the only valid recipient of the email. Once the nodes are set up, proceed to the Test tab to check how the scenario flows. Here you can see how many customers pass through each scenario node. Check if it is only the tester ID which flows through the scenario. Remember that our tester ID might not fulfill all the conditions of the scenario, so more adjustments to the scenario flow could be needed. In our case, we must disconnect 2 more nodes to pass through the conditions successfully. When you see the tester ID flows correctly through the scenario, you can start the scenario. The scenario triggers immediately, so we can proceed to our inbox and check whether the email was successfully delivered. So that's how you test the deliverability of your email.